Ultimate Sisters, hoping on our social media pages they are actually, buzzing. It is at SowetoTV channel, #Ultimate Sisters, still continuing the conversation of young engineers. And right now we're about to have a chat with Jessi. Welcome to Ultimate Sisters.
Thank you.
Now, can you please introduce yourself to the viewers at home?
Yes, my name is Jessi Sunkel and I'm in charge of marketing and training for Young Engineers, South Africa.
Now, you're saying that you're in charge of training at Young Engineers.
Yes.
Why did you decide to be a part of Young Engineers?
My background has always been the development and growth of individuals and groups. And when I found out about Young Engineers who focus on our future, I thought what a better way to actually start is to actually start from the beginning. And like mentioned before, it's not just the STEM subjects that they look at, but there's also personal growth happening in all of our classes.
Absolutely. Now, you are a speaker, right?
Yes.
What challenges would you really say you've come across when you're trying to convey your message to your audience?
I must say the biggest challenge, specifically at that Women's Day event, we were different people speaking about finances, personal beauty, education, early childhood. And every woman is unique. So in order to actually get that woman who's not necessarily interested to actually be interested and listen to your message and actually convince them that it is a good message, I would say is challenging for everyone.
Yeah. Sure. Now, Jessi, I just want to know, why do you think it's actually important, to keep advancing and the resources and tools for youth empowerment?
Well, I must say the world is changing. Every year the youth is changing, what they're able to do is changing. So we need to keep up with the times. But the most important, I would say, to include with empowering is to actually be more inclusive. Yeah. So not just have programs available to the elite or to the people in the right area, but to actually be more inclusive, have more children, more backgrounds, more people involved, and not just children but adults as well. And that is, I think, where we need to start going in the future with education.
Now, from your point of view, why do you think it's imperative to groom young women from a young age?
It's definitely important to groom them, and I think we are grooming our women, but what are we grooming them in at the moment? And if I think of when I was younger, being an engineer or a car mechanic was never on the list. It was either a pianist or a singer or a movie star or a TV presenter or teacher. And I think if we stop the divide between female and male dreams, and we start grooming the women to think more about themselves and that they're capable of doing a lot more, we're definitely going to have a different tomorrow, a different woman in our world. Yeah.
Sure. Now, what positive impact has Young Engineers had in our community and society?
I think at the moment we are everywhere in South Africa, almost everywhere in South Africa. So the impact that we have on current students is great. And with the Women's Day event, we launched the YESA Foundation. So just launching the YESA Foundation, we're starting to see wheels starting to turn. And they are going to be able to go even further across the boundaries and across the borders and actually look at more women empowering more women and more children. So just starting that foundation is already enough.
That's true. Now, as an organization, why do you feel it's important to carry out a rather intimate structure when you're actually meeting up with people?
I think the intimacy gives chance to actually answer questions, to sit down with people that want to help, so people that are in power, people that have the money, people that have the vision. So the more intimate, the better. Our classes at the moment, our extramural classes are very intimate, so that you can give individual attention. And I think that can really carry through when meeting with powerful people.
Yeah. Now, you did mention earlier on that you're in charge of training. What does that entail?
So what that entails is we sell franchises all across South Africa, and we do have an international brand as well. So when someone buys a franchise, or if someone wants to become an instructor or a teacher, I give that kind of training and that kind of support.
Okay, with all the learners that you've actually, interacted with, would you say that, Young Engineers has impacted their lives? If so, how?
I definitely think so. We've had teachers come to us and say that kids started talking about things that they shouldn't have known yet because they're still too young. We've had parents come to us and say, oh, my child's attitude is so much better because they pack away themselves when they're building on those games. So now they're starting to clean up after themselves. They're starting to look people in the eye. With some of the autistic children that we've had, they're becoming more sociable. And they're choosing their time to look at the teacher in their eye, sit with new friends and actually sit close. And, so we really are impacting on many different scales, not just on their education and their subjects at school, but in their social environment and their community as well.
Sure. Now, what are some of the future plans that you guys have lined up?
Some of the future plans for the Jessi Foundation is obviously to get more corporate sponsorship and to branch out more and be more effective in our community. For the young engineers as a whole, to get into every province, we're almost there. And then to actually make contact with our Department of Education and try and get our programs into every school. We want to be inclusive, and we feel like young engineers is such a great opportunity, and it shouldn't just be available for the selected few. It should be out there for everyone.
Absolutely.
So that's what we're hoping for.
Sure.
And all the best with all of that.
Thank you.
It's really needed in the country. Now, how can people get a hold of you?
We're very active on social media, like you guys.
That's a good thing.
So Young Engineers South Africa, Young Engineers SA, and then obviously on our website there's a lot of information, and the Jessi Foundation will be linked up there as well as they start getting more operational. So youngengineers.co.za.
Thank you so much for actually joining us and teaching us, letting us know more about young engineers.
Thank you for having me.
Now, ladies, it actually goes to prove, Uguti, everything, is actually in the palm of our hands. There are so many platforms for us to learn. There are so many platforms for us to grow as individuals. So I really think you need to take it upon yourself to do something, do some research, find out what you can do to better the state of your life.
I couldn't have said that better, Tsakani, it's also important, Uguti, we focus on early childhood development, and that's why I support young engineers, and I say, keep doing what you guys are doing. You guys are doing so much great work. But you know what, guys, unfortunately we have come towards the end of the show, but we're doing this again next week.